Tuesday o'clock. You knew what time that would be. I had a rough guess. So I think that just taking a moment to honor the moment, I reckon. And now that I've kind of sorted some of this stuff out with the live stream and the technical capacity, I think I've actually got some like better quality streaming going on across the board. So we're gonna just do it across the board right now and actually see how well it's actually working. So you can let me know how well it's working, because I have been just kind of like muddling my way through to see if this will do what I need it to do. So I've got like several different platforms. I've got one that is intended to be my outdoorsy, worldly self in the middle of a marsh or a swamp or a shore or the middle of the lake if I can muster it. And then another that's basically my writing to record. And then another that's pretty much fun time, because that's what twitch.tv is. And then my friends and family on Facebook. The whole crowd, everybody's on board right now for Tuesday o'clock. What am I gonna say? What can I possibly say other than thank you for joining me? And thank you for taking a moment to tune in. This is a journey for me to get this down. I've got kind of this rough vision of where this is all going, and I'm pretty sure that it will become much more meaningful over time as to what it is that I'm doing with this. Right now it's still very much in an incubation phase of how to make this happen, which everybody else makes it look so darn easy, and let me tell you, there's some stuff going on to make this happen well. So I appreciate the folks that have kind of stuck with me and helped me figure out what works, what doesn't work, and have provided the comments here and there along the way. It's not always the easiest to bear, because I'm either slightly boring or slightly weird or somewhere in the middle, and you never can quite tell what I'm going to talk about, because I can go the gamut of talking about anti-fascism to talking about my cats and possibly my birds that are actually waiting for their new cage so that I can overhaul their whole habitat, which I didn't expect to have birds. It was my son that decided to have birds, and now I have birds. And I'm learning what to do when they manage to get themselves stuck in corners and can't fly out of them. Can you relate to that? I can relate to that, getting stuck in corners and not able to fly out of that corner. Yeah, that's a thing. So today was a little more clear sky here in the Midwest. Yesterday was the first day of the wildfire smoke turning the sky overcast, and it made me realize that I should probably spend a little bit more time out in the sunshine when it's available. And then today it was actually a little less gray than I was expecting it to be, so I got out into the natural world for a bit, and it, you know, just the whole reality with the wildfires and all of the natural events, the extreme weather events that we're experiencing, it's very, you know, it's sobering, like what we're dealing with. So I really empathize with the folks who are bearing the brunt of that right now. Like, I'm fairly fortunate to be in a space that is tucked away from a lot of the brunt of those impacts. So I appreciate that I have this space to be able to calmly communicate and broadcast to you from me in my living room to you in yours, with little, not too much concern with what's going on in the outside world, in my immediate environment. As you can see, my cat is very calm, and in fact, it has taken up much of the couch, so that's why the frame is a little bit different than it normally is. So I wonder if this one's working, actually. I'm not sure if this one's working. Huh. This one's working, that one's working, and that one is working. But this new platform that I've endeavored to engage on, I'm not sure if it's actually working, or if it's kind of stuck on the black screen. I wonder if this one's working, actually. Oh, yeah. This one's working, as you can see. This one's working, that one's working, and that one is working. But this new platform that I've endeavored to engage on, I'm not sure if it's actually working. It's working. It's kind of stuck on the black screen. I know it's stuck on the black screen, but it's not actually. This one's working. Oh, yeah, this one's working, as you can see. So last night I joined somebody's live stream. They had started this conversation. People do these like live learns where they learn a song live on the air, and they turn it into like this contest where all of the audience and fans can like nominate songs and vote on them. And so I nominated The Dog and the Butterfly, and it didn't win, unfortunately, but it did get some votes. It got like 7 votes. But I went on the air for a moment on that person's live stream to justify my nomination of The Dog and the Butterfly, except for that I forgot to turn off the audio in the one tab, and so it would, like, the audio was streaming from like 2 different places, and it was just creating this loop of audio, which is like simultaneously amusing to me and also like fairly crazy making, and eventually will get to be a point where you can't actually hear what's going on. And so so I was like on this live stream that from somebody that was broadcasting from New Zealand, in fact, and they were doing their music show and learning a song, and it was a little bit embarrassing because I get overwhelmed with some of this, and then I forget like really simple things like just turn off the audio on that particular part and then it will be fine. But I just kind of like forget about all of those different pieces. So but it was good. It was a good learning experience of like engaging on this other platform that people use, and going live, and how you bring guests onto the air. Right now the guest is my cat, but perhaps it might be you as soon as I figure out that piece of the puzzle, because won't that be a good time? Because that's where this is headed. Because what's the point if we're not going to actually have a party out of all this, right? So that's what I'm essentially building up these pieces to create a live stream party. Who knew? Did you know? You're going to. So I know that these different pieces of the puzzle here, some of the platforms work out just fine with the stream, and other ones don't, and so it's like constantly like me switching through all these to make sure that it's actually coming through, and to figure out like what's actually working well or not well, and which is working the best. So it's, I know, I'm a little distracted. And I still, hey, somebody's just joined on the Periscope. Thanks for tuning in. Still sorting out all of these different pieces across the various audiences, platforms. And the trouble with doing all these things in the technical management, I really need a technician, because yes, I will let you call in chat as soon as I figure out how to actually do that, which I have not gotten that far, and I will get there. So yeah, it's I feel like a puppet master trying to figure out like how to marionette these different platforms all at the same time. It's like this whole puppet show across social media. Yeah, it's so this is the Tuesday o'clock, sometimes called Tuesday time, sometimes called the Tuesday Twilight, and sometimes called the Tuesday Twilight 909, when it actually goes live at 909, which it sometimes does. And in fact, I preceded the Tuesday 909 with a Monday 909 just by accident, which was actually quite amusing as well. So that's my kind of the theme, is a Tuesday evening, and of course across the time frames it could be evening for several hours. The twilight goes on and on and on. I think it probably at this hour is about mountain twilight. And I remember passing through the mountains, the Rocky Mountains one time, and like being able to read, just kind of read the mountains, like there's just poetry written in the mountainside, and so beautiful. And so that's kind of what I was thinking about tonight as it was getting a little bit later and later, that this is a mountain twilight hour, and it made me think of the way that the Rocky Mountains just kind of carve themselves into their own language, that when you look at it, and especially in like a morning hour or evening hour, it looks like a language that you could actually read, and you'll find yourself wanting to read the mountainside. And that's a really powerful feeling when you're trying to actually literally read nature. Not just what the animals are doing, but the actual landscape, reading the actual landscape. It's kind of a profound feeling. So that's the idea, I think, in many ways, of this particular Tuesday night episode, the Twilight Hour, is learning how to read what is written in the landscape, whatever that landscape is, whether it's esoteric or spiritual or actual, or the wall. There's writing on it. You should probably read it. And as I'm on the Eastern time zone, and an American, and if you're following along at all with what's going on with the American political scene, what's happening for U.S. If you're here, yeah. If you're not here, if you're looking in from abroad, yeah, it's as crazy as it looks. It is. It's like complete mania going on in here. So this is my line out. That's what it is. It's a line out. It's a line across to others within, but also a line out. So without any further delay, let me roll through a couple of things, because one, I can, and I'm still finessing what it is that I finesse. So let's see, we'll go back over here to this deal that I've got going on, and we will figure out how to show a bit of what I've got. And I was mentioning earlier, this is a wall, it's a mosaic that depicts a scene that is shows some kind of some dark swirling nature within the town that I live that you don't quite notice the depth of what's happening in the scene in this piece of art, in this artwork, and that's a mosaic on a wall on the street. But when you step back and you look at it, you see that there's a lot of depth and meaning in what's going on in the picture and what it's portraying. And I always find it amusing, actually, because it fully echoes how I feel about the darkness that is here. There's a lot of lightness, but there's also a lot of darkness, and this artwork, like whoever this artist was, like really captured it very well. Like, and it's amazing the way that art can capture insights about anything, life, anything, and you don't necessarily think that anyone shares those insights until you see something that clearly depicts what that is. And that is one of the beauties of art, is that it can do that kind of a thing. And so this wall, this picture is, essentially a very close-up depiction of that particular kind of thing. And I'm, still working out all the ways that I engage in this format and on this media. What I like about this piece is it makes you think a little bit like how television used to be. You switch to the UHF channels, figure out what you could actually watch clearly enough so that you could watch something. That's what I like about this camera. It's not very clear, but it's certainly nostalgic. So I am not going to let this go on too long because I've got a bit of a numbness to what it is that I want to share and engage, and I don't want to bore you to tears, so I will keep this short and brief. But before I go, if you are stateside, make sure that you have your plan to vote in place and that you've clearly visualized the full execution of that process. And if there are others in your life, friends, family, who need help making sure that they've got their voting secured, what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, what they need, if anything, to make sure that it is counted, help them and encourage folks to really think carefully about what it means to be in the US right now, and what it means to vote right now, and what it means to vote now, with all of the threats against our democracy and the compromise of being able to vote in the future. So I hope that with all that is going on, that you are well, and that you are holding steadfast to what you need and desire in this world, and that you are true to who you are. So until the next time, which will likely be, I'll give you a little sneak preview if I can find it. Where did I put that? Let's see, where did I put that? A little sneak preview of my Saturday night shindig that I always do. Here, wait a minute, just wait for it. Whatever shall be, shall be. And that is the theme of my Saturday night shindig, which will be upon us before long at all. So I hope to see you there. And thanks for joining me tonight for a moment in time with Tuesday o'clock. otherwise known as Tuesday Time, Tuesday Twilight, and the Tuesday Twilight at 9:09. All right. Thank you. Take care. Be well. Could have been. Wait. I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there.